Welcome to Skijor Chronicles, the podcast where horsepower meets powder and winter adventure races into your ears. I'm your host, Steve Itel, and each episode we dive into the wild, exhilarating world of skijoring, where skiers are pulled by horses chasing speed, skill, and stories that stretch from snowy back roads to world-class arenas. Whether you're a seasoned racer, a winter sports junkie, or just here for the ride, saddle up, strap in, and get ready for wild race stories, epic wipeouts, tips from pros who somehow make this look easy, and interviews with folks who thought, sure, I'll ski behind that.
My name is Joey Lane. I'm a Skijor skier. I live in Breckenridge, Colorado. I typically ski in the sport division. Every now and then I'll bump up to the open, just depending on the race, kind of who else is skiing, or maybe we missed the deadline or something crazy like that, which it happens nowadays. Yeah, I've been doing it for about 3 years now. And
Some people know, but as we found out this year, a lot of people don't even know that you're actually my brother because we have different last names.
correct.
But you're my little brother and also my skier.
Yep.
When did you get into skijoring? Like, when was your first race year and where?
So my first race was Leadville in 2022. I remember we had practiced out in your driveway just a little bit. It was pretty mellow, and just decided to say, hey, screw it, let's send it. We went to Leadville, and I remember being super nervous because the crowd was huge. But yeah, we skied once a day or twice a day. I think we had 2 runs in the day, 1 match, 1 draw. I skied behind you first with you were riding Henry, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And then I skied behind Kelly Hyde. I remember she had asked me when she threw me the rope, hey, have you done this before? I was like, I just did it my first time right before. And I had 2 clean runs that first day, so that was pretty cool. And then second race ever was Bondurant 2 weeks after that, pretty sure.
Was that the same year?
That was the same year, yeah.
Okay, so your first year you did 2 races.
2 races.
Okay.
First year.
Wow, I don't
then-
remember that.
Yeah, and then the next year, pretty sure, like we ended that year
Yeah.
saying, hey, this is awesome. We love this. Let's do this as much as possible. And then next year we went kind of full bore. I think we did 5 or 6 races, starting with Meeker. We did full circuit that year and full circuit this year.
Full circuit every year.
Yeah. To the near future, far future.
Do you remember like do you remember like ever skiing your first skijor race? Like, could you tell me what that you hit the gates right, or did you just totally black out?
I remember I had a clean run. I hit all the gates, got all the rings, my first run, but I do definitely remember blacking out. Like being at the end of the run, I was super stoked. I was like, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought.
Right.
But it was way more fun than I ever expected. And then, yeah, I had a clean run. I think I had 2 clean runs that day. And then I remember, because that was on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I remember I had 1 clean run, and then I fell on 1 run because I think I just got caught in the slush.
You probably fell on my run knowing my luck.
I did.
Yeah. All my skiers crashed on Sunday.
Yeah. And then I skied, because that second day was when I skied behind Al.
Oh, okay. Why were you not behind Kelly?
Because they did a different draw every day.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's been a different,
Weird.
I guess the
I
last
don't
2
remember
years, last 2 years in Leadville have been the same format. But that first year that we did it together,
It was a different draw on Saturday versus Sunday.
and they didn't have an open. It was
That's
just
right.
a 3D.
That's right. Well, your first race was not my first race
Correct.
because you were in college, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And I kept trying to get you to come out and do this. I had lived in Colorado already, and I'd already done, I want to say 3 races, or 3 seasons of racing already under my belt. And I kept trying to get you to come out. I'm like, dude, you got to come do this sport. It's so much fun. It's insane.
Right.
And you were in college, And did you graduate college and then I got you to come out? Or did you... There was one year I feel like I was trying to get you to come out, but you were still in college.
Yeah, because I lived out here during that COVID winter.
Oh, yeah, when we had the
And
race at the fairgrounds.
Yeah. And I don't think you raced that year.
I didn't.
Yeah. And then I had gone back for a semester, basically, to finish out my degree. And then I remember being in class and you were competing in Leadville for the first time and you sent me a video of it. And I was like, that is the craziest thing ever. It was like you on Henry start gate at Leadville, and it was dumping snow. And I was like sitting in class. I'm like, why am I here? This looks awesome. And then from that point on, I was like, all right, we need to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was kind of waiting for you to get done with college to come ski.
Yeah, and then, because then I was out here for that whole winter, and I think you were busy. Or I think Dell was pregnant, wasn't she?
No, she was not.
Not yet. Well, that first year, I don't know why we only did Leadville. I think we didn't really know about the other circuits yet.
No, Dell was pregnant the first year that you raced.
Correct.
She was pregnant that year.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember we stayed out of the trailer and then stayed out of that Airbnb in Bondurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we just didn't know about the other races yet.
Yeah.
That year, and you had done Leadville already.
Right.
And so we had just kind of been anticipating Leadville.
No, we all had real jobs that you can't get time off as much.
That too.
That's the biggest factor with this sport is getting a lot of time off. But luckily, we both have good jobs now that we can kind of say, fuck off, we're going Skijor and then peace out for basically the winter.
Yeah, it's definitely very nice having something that I can do somewhat hybrid remote, and then you kind of make your own schedule. So
yeah,
having flexible job schedule is
pretty
essential.
It's absolutely key to being able to to Skijor the circuit. Otherwise, you are just going to be like a weekend warrior. You can hit a race here and there, but it's pretty hard if you can't get time off. But going back to that, I mean, there's a very kind of I guess I don't know if it's an inside joke, but it's a running joke that nobody actually knows what anybody does that Skijors. Like,
correct.
I could name 50 people right now that I see every weekend Skijoring on the circuit, and there's maybe 5 or 6 people that I know what they do for a living. So what the hell do you do for a living?
So I got my degree in civil engineering from Washington State University, and I work huge. But I work as an engineer in training for a civil engineering firm, primarily in like water distribution, water treatment type stuff. But yeah, I mean, the winter is kind of our more downtime office work stuff. So a lot of the times I can finagle some remote work, and then the summer is when kind of the construction season starts up. So the winters, it works out perfectly because, you know, I can take 1 or 2 days a week on that Friday or Monday travel day when I can just kind of work from home or work from the car.
So we know how you got into it because you're fortunate enough to have a brother who has expensive hobbies and owns horses. But if you didn't, how the hell do you think you would have gotten into this sport if you would have at all?
It's funny because I get that question from all of my friends and just people talking to random people. I think the best way to get into it is a race like Leadville, just because they have that same day registration and they have that kind of almost networking event on Friday night during the sign up. I think that's a good way. And then I think the thing that I've been telling a lot of people recently is that Skijor Marketplace Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, it's super easy to get onto.
Yep.
It's not like a bunch of rigorous questions that you have to ask. I think the question was like, what makes a Skijor team? And it's just, you know, skier, rider, horse.
Oh, like there's a test question to get into the community.
Yeah, I think it's just to make sure
keep the bots
the
out.
bots out. I think is kind of the purpose of that.
See,
but
I'm not on Facebook, so I don't actually know any of this shit.
Yeah, because I got on there when I was looking for some polls on a race this season, and
when you were trying to cheat on me.
No, I was trying to fill it up because you didn't have enough horses. So I was trying to get a full 4 poles.
You hear this fucking greedy bastard?
You want to ski as much as you can in every race.
Doesn't have enough horses.
But yeah, I think that Facebook page is a really good way to get into it because you can just kind of comment. There's a lot of comments all the time, and people are super open and excited when new people are trying to get into the sport, and just, make a post that says, "Hey, I want to ski at this race and I've never done it before. I'll probably enter in the novice or the sport. I have this much skiing background." Or if you're a rider, just say, "Hey, I think my horse is this fast. I'll probably enter in the novice anyways because it's my first time." And then you'll have loads of comments and people just saying, "Hey, reach out to this person," or, "Hey, message me." And, it's everybody's super open for new people into the sport, which is what I've seen.
Yeah, I'd absolutely 100% agree with that. I think this sport is actually probably one of the most supportive sports, in my opinion, that I've seen for helping out other competitors and getting new people kind of lined out on what to do on race day.
Definitely.
Like, even as far as there's people that don't know how to rig a saddle, don't know how to how do you put the rope on the saddle? How do you tie a knot? Just stupid, easy stuff like that we all take for granted because we do this every weekend. And, it's stuff like that you don't even think that, holy shit, how do I even put this rope on?
Right.
Can I have one knot, no knots? Do I put a loop on the end? What do I do?
And I don't know about you. I get excited when people ask me that because I'm like, yes, more people. I love growing the community. I'm excited to teach you about this.
For sure. I think if you want to restrict growth and don't want to see growth, then I can show you the fucking door.
Right.
That's not going to help this sport at all.
Yeah.
We want to see growth. It's insane. You've been doing this for a short time, but it seems like if I look back and try to remember your first Leadville race to even Leadville this year, 2025, right?
Right.
The difference in the fucking crowd.
Huge.
Insane,
massive.
Dude.
Yeah.
Your first year, I want to say there's maybe 7,000.
Yeah.
Roughly.
And I was shitting my pants.
And it's 20, it's 20,000 fucking people there. That town is busted at the seams. You can't take a piss anywhere.
No.
You can't get food to eat. You can't get a beer. It's insane, dude.
Yeah.
And that's just spectator growth.
Yeah. And this is my first time at Leadville just kind of being a spectator because I wasn't competing.
And we'll go into that later.
Yeah. A little injury moment. But yeah, I wasn't competing and just trying to get up and down the sidewalk and trying to get food in the middle of the day or
it's insane.
Find somewhere to go to the bathroom and just stand and watch is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the first year you competed, my wife was pregnant. Yes, my wife was pregnant. That's why she didn't ride a horse.
Yeah.
And she was trying to get up through the crowd just to take a video of us on our run. And she could not get through. She was like, "Can I please take a video of my husband and my brother-in-law?" And people were like, "No."
Yeah.
So even then, that was 3 years ago. And it's gotten even more crazy now.
Yeah. And even Grand Lake first year race and look at how much that exploded.
We'll talk about that too. That was just insane.
That was blew everybody's mind.
What's the main races you hit every year or try to hit every year?
So first race of the year, which is always one of my favorite races, is Meeker, put on by Janelle and Lauren Urista. That one's New Year's weekend usually.
Or the first weekend in January. Yep.
And that's kind of a great first race. That's another good race if you're kind of just starting out. It's a smaller community.
For sure.
You don't get scared by the crowd. And it's always a good track, good crowd, good town, everything. It's all around good race.
Yep, agree.
And then the next race after that is Ridgeway, which honestly, if that was in easier to get to from a big metro area would be at the Leadville.
Oh, for sure. Leadville level crowds, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could get that race like in fucking Golden, Colorado or Denver or anywhere, dude, it'd destroy that town.
It would be huge. Yeah.
Huge.
Because it's such an awesome track, and they do everything. They hit all the bells and whistles of every
Absolutely.
event.
For sure, one of my, if not the favorite race of the year.
Yeah.
And probably absolutely the best competitor spectator production, crew that I've ever seen at a Skijor race. Like the Webbers, the Smedruds, like that crew has figured it out.
Yeah.
And I absolutely 100% have been leaning on them to make my race like their race.
Same.
They just had to go through the struggles.
Yeah.
I'm jumping 5-6 years ahead of where they started because I leaned on them and I said, hey, what'd you do wrong?
Yeah. I mean, huge kudos to Tyler Smedrud for, giving me all the advice for the Grand Lake track. Because he was so helpful, and I was able to pick his brain on everything. And I think it worked out pretty well for kind of a first year track.
So we keep talking about Grand Lake.
Yeah.
Like you assume everybody knows
probably
what you're talking about. So this year, 2025, March 8th and 9th, 2025, my wife and I, along with the help of my brother, hosted the Grand Lake Skijor inaugural race.
First annual
brought back. Apparently it's been done there in the 80s or something like that, but the first new revived race that's been there in at least the last 40 years.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, like I said, along with the help of Joey, put this race on. And there's a lot of other people that helped us. You were tasked with designing the track.
Yeah.
Explain to me how you came up with the track you designed.
So I picked the track. I guess the first thing that I approached it with is that it was a straight track. So a lot of my favorite tracks are curved tracks. Obviously could pull details off of that, but we kind of had to approach it with a straight track. So something along the lines of Leadville, something along the lines of Craig or Silverton. A lot very similar to Silverton, just because Silverton's kind of downtown, and they usually put on a pretty cool race. So yeah, I kind of just picked ideas and features and, little details from every track that I enjoyed, and, just tried to fit it into 750 feet. And, I think we had a few parameters, put the gap jump in front of the park where the announcer stand was. And then my approach to it was I wanted it to be kind of dynamic between Saturday and Sunday. So to have, the different divisions start on different sides, and I wanted it to be able to use the whole track within the whole day. So yeah, took out whoops and tabletops and ring stands and gap jumps, and we had to jump a skid steer, so that was a pretty driving feature. And then I think as a skier, I really enjoyed the spine feature at the end. Like I said, I didn't ski it, but I think even as a rider, a lot of people like that because you kind of have to pick both sides.
You skied Silverton this year? No, that was your first race you were out.
Yeah, Silverton was the first race.
So you didn't ski any spine? Well, I
didn't.
Ridgeway always has a good spine.
Ridgeway had a spine.
Yeah.
Ridgeway had a spine that was probably twice as long as ours.
Dude, theirs is fucking huge.
Yeah, and there was a jump at the beginning. There was a jump in the middle.
Yeah,
and
fucked people up.
Yeah, it messed people up pretty good. And like I said, theirs is a curved track, and it's about, almost twice as long as ours.
Yeah, not quite that long, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're 1,200.
Yeah, 1,200. So
we were 750. We'll be close to like that 1,100 foot range next year is my goal.
Yeah, we can do a lot with
that. So you, with your civil engineering background, you took the road, almost the survey specs, not quite that detailed.
Right.
But we knew how the width was. We knew the length.
Right.
And you took it on your work software, your CAD software, correct?
As Bluebeam.
But it's
PDF editor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you took it and you drew this out completely, like
100%,
with distances measured, ring stands measured,
Yeah.
Gates. Did you have gates? You didn't have gates.
I didn't
measured,
have gates.
but we had the route.
Yeah.
We kind of had the route loosely drawn in there.
Yep.
And we had gap measured. And then I took what you drew, sat down and met with the CAD operator. Dude, shout out to Cam. Like,
Cam,
hands down, dude, that guy is a fucking genius with the
He seemed like he enjoyed it too.
Oh my God, so much. Like, such a good CAD operator. Like, he definitely made my life so much easier and made me look really good. But
yeah,
we couldn't have done it without him.
Not at all.
But we also couldn't have done it without a lot of other people. Like,
Yeah.
I can keep saying that and beating that around, but it's true. Like, it was not just me, my wife, and you. It was not just me, my wife, Matt, you. It was, dude, it was a whole community of people that came together. And that's kind of what the best part about this sport is, in my opinion. But
yeah,
back to the track design. So you sent that to me, and then you had also sent it to Tyler Smedrud, right?
Yeah. So I had kind of sat down and
who else did you send it to? Craig Kopaz?
I sent it to Craig Kopaz,
who's also a civil engineer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's like way too many smart people trying to fucking monkey fuck this design, right?
But I think
or did you guys all
out.
Get it together? Okay.
Like I had kind of just
I was not a part of this because I didn't want to be putting my hands in too many things.
Yeah. Like I think I had kind of sat down. I had talked to Tyler at the Pagosa race, kind of asked what his approach was, and he had kind of said, just get onto Google Earth, pull some distances, and just kind of have fun with it. And that's kind of what I did. I pulled some distances, scaled the drawing out, and just started kind of throwing shapes on a page and messing around with trying to be creative. And then,
but kind of based off of what you like to ski, or are you just kind of throwing shit out there?
No, based off of what I like to ski, and then also kind of what we had talked about as requirements, like gap jump
was mandatory.
Yeah, and then also a bigger sport feature, which is kind of the tabletop that we had.
Yeah.
So I kind of worked around those, and then talked to Tyler, learned what his approach was with different distances, and then just pulled off scales on a drawing. But yeah, pulled distances off of Google Earth there, be able to scale the drawing, and just started to get creative. And once I kind of had a general idea, I sent it over to Tyler, and we had a phone call and talked through. And he said that it looked like a fun track, and here's kind of where he had downfalls on his past track designs, different things to keep in mind with distances between jumps, distances between gates and rings and things like that. How long a gap needs to be, and how long a spine needs to be, and how long between the start gate and the first feature and the last feature and the end gate. And
it's nice when people can fail for you.
100%.
And you're an idiot if you don't listen to them.
Yeah.
What's that saying? There's dumb people, smart people, and wise people.
The wise people listen to the
other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I listen to the smart people and the dumb people.
I like to think that I'm the guy that likes to listen to other people's mistakes and learn from them. There's some that don't learn. Can't fix stupid, but I mean that just shows you though, like how supportive this community is. Like when I can call up other race organizers and say, "Hey, I'm trying to put this race on," and they're like, "Good luck, but here's all the things that I did wrong, and don't do this."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I listened to him. Like I was talking to, if it wasn't Richard, if it wasn't Janelle, or if it wasn't Richard Raymer up in Saratoga, like I was talking to one of those three almost every day, picking their brain on something. Because the other thing that I don't know if a lot of people realize this, like we started planning this race, deciding we were going to do this race January 8th of 2025.
Yeah.
We pulled this race off March 8th of 2025.
Like a week
before. In 2 fucking months, we pulled off, I think, and not to be biased, but I think one of my favorite races of the year. And considering I didn't sleep worth a shit for like a fucking week because I was so busy.
Right.
It was worse than my wedding as far as like being so busy, not talking to people, like not sleeping. Like it was insane, but like hands down, like, dude, it was so much fun to see that community come together the way they did, and the feedback we got from competitors.
Yeah, that was awesome to hear that a lot of competitors enjoyed skiing it, enjoyed riding the course, enjoyed just, the event ambiance from Friday night
Right.
all the way until Sunday night. Because it's not obviously the race, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Saturday, Sunday is the big thing. But,
Right.
everything that ties it together is, the registration, where are we doing this? In a restaurant, what's going on? Is it smooth? Saturday night, do you have a good space for awards? Do you have maybe a live band going on? Is there good places to get food throughout the day?
That was an iffy one.
I thought it worked out pretty well. I don't think
I didn't ever
really,
try to get food. People were getting me food, thank God. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really ran out of food though.
No, but
for the most part.
Like we try to prepare the town. So a lot of people that don't know, Grand Lake, Colorado, it's kind of in the northeast corner of Colorado. It's right at the entry to Rocky Mountain National Park on the southwest side of the park.
Yeah,
is what it would be. So it's a kind of a small community, gateway community, Rocky Mountain National Park. And in the wintertime, it's a dead-end road community. Like the Rocky Mountain National Park road is not open in the winter. And so there's not a lot of people that actually travel up there specifically to go hang out in Grand Lake because there's really not a lot going on there in the winter. There's
nothing.
If
really.
you love ice fishing and snowmobiling, it's the place to be. But if that's not for you, then you're probably not going up there. And so it's way out of the way. I mean, it's a 30-minute turn from Granby north, roughly.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, you have to be going there for a reason.
Right. And so for us, when we were planning this for the first year, we had no idea what to expect as far as like how many spectators were we going to see in this town. And talking with the town mayor, the manager, the public works guy, I was like, I don't expect to see anything less than 2,000, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see 5,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think everybody had a very open idea.
And like we had no idea what to go off of. And like when there's you have roughly 5 restaurants in that town, right?
Yeah.
Give or take. And granted, there's 2 that are like decent size, so they can see quite a bit of people. And I'm talking like Charlie's and Sagebrush. Like they were decent sized restaurant. And then I guess your next biggest would be like Rocky's and One Love, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the restaurants
Are
and
closed.
forgive
in the
me if
winter.
I'm forgetting your name, but the rest of them are closed for the winter.
Except for that one pizza place that opened.
White Buffalo.
Just for
They
that
open up
race.
just for this race. Yeah.
I think they did pretty well.
I don't know. They were like the one restaurant owner I didn't actually get to talk to.
And
But
then there's some coffee shops though.
yeah. So at the end of the day, and we got final numbers, we saw 10,000 people roll through that town on Saturday, Sunday. And that doesn't include what we brought in Friday, just with like our competitors rolling in. Because like competitors alone, we could draw on 500 people easy if you're bringing family and competitors and all that stuff with friends.
That sounds about right to me.
So like that's a good crowd. I mean, in itself, just for that town. And with it being, like I said, a dead end road, so I think a lot of people did come up on Friday night and capitalize on Friday night because there was good live music. I happened to pop into the bar because it was right. That was the nice thing about the track being downtown is like I was working on the track till midnight, but I could keep
Hopping into the
restaurants and see how everything was going. Yeah.
But yeah, I think
So yeah, to see 10,000 people in a dead end town
it was
in
huge.
wintertime, yeah, dude,
It was awesome.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
It blew anybody and everybody's expectations out of the water.
Yeah. And I think the support from the town was the biggest thing.
Dude, huge. Like I've never rolled into a Skijor town, right? Like just the town in general.
Right.
And had be welcomed with such open arms from everybody.
Yeah.
Like
And I think
politicians, dude. Like the fucking
mayor.
The fucking mayor, dude. Like
Was
we're
at
out
every bar,
every
and
dude,
every
like,
event.
I swear to God, she had like 6 of her because every time I turned around, she'd
she
be
was
like,
there.
"Hey, Steve, how's it going?" And I'm like,
yeah.
"I just saw you like 2 blocks away, like
Yeah.
5 minutes ago. How did you get back here?
Like
so
even
fast?"
during the race, I would see her at the end of the track.
Dude, she was everywhere.
And then I would walk down and she'd be at the beginning of the
Yeah.
track. I'm like, how'd you beat me down here?
But no, she was, I mean, Christina, shout out to Christina. She was awesome. Like she was so supportive of us bringing that race to that town. And in fact, it wasn't us that brought the race to that town. That town brought the race to them. Like,
yeah, we were
they
like
reached
the
out to
carriers
us.
of it.
Yeah, they reached out to us and asked us if we could help them figure out how to get a Skijor race there. And
Yeah.
I could see that they were going to be super supportive because at first I was like, I absolutely want nothing to do with this.
Yeah. We kind of knew the town a little bit too. And
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty like loose connection to that town, I'd say,
Right.
but I just knew what was involved with putting a Skijor race on from talking to other race organizers that I was like, that sounds like such a miserable experience. Why would anybody do that to themselves?
Yeah. And
lo and behold, I was asked on December 22nd, sitting down with Matt Reed and at the time the mayor, Steve, and a couple of the town event organizers, Sarah and Elena. And they were picking our brain, like, what do we need to do? All this. And I was like, oh, you guys are so in over your head. You have no fucking idea.
yeah.
But long story short, they're like, would you help us? And I was like, absolutely not.
But that's what they
I
needed.
don't want to help you. I'll help direct you and connect you to people and network
Right.
for you. And then within like a week, I was like, man, this town is so on board with trying to get this race here. Like
They're serious.
Dude, I was like, they want this so bad.
Right. And if they want it, that's
So
the
then
biggest
I
obstacle.
was like, look, if you guys want it that badly, like I want it to be done right because I want it to go off well.
We don't want it to end
let
up
us
like
just,
another.
we'll just take this over and do this for you.
Yeah. Because,
Give me what I need from your town,
right.
like your street and all that stuff, and we'll bring you the best possible race we can bring you in 2 months. And I feel like we succeeded with that.
Yeah. If we help each other out, we can make this into a massive event. And
it was
I
exhausting.
think that's exactly what happened. I think
we've gone down such a tangent talking about my race, which I did not want to do, but you know what? So what? Fuck it.
That's what happens.
So let's go back to the races you did this year. Okay.
Right.
So, and I know them
Right.
because I was your fucking rider for the most part.
So I think we
So
talked
you kind
about
of, it was kind of you or me, my wife, Delphine, and then
AJ.
Janelle and Lauren. Those were your 4 riders, or did you
Those are my 4 riders. Yeah.
You didn't pull behind anybody else?
I skied behind Jed.
You dirty rotten whore. No, that's right.
In,
Oh yeah, that's right. Saratoga.
in Saratoga.
Yeah, that's right. Behind.
Jed, that was it.
No, but who was this horse? Zombie.
Zombie.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, because he had been floating Zombie between Sport and Open this year.
Right. So,
but that was the one race.
But otherwise, it was pretty much the 4 of us that you were skied behind.
Yep. Yeah, because
Cool.
you pretty much brought 2 to 3 horses to every race.
Yep.
And that's the max at every race for a skier in a division is typically 4, sometimes 3.
So when you say that, you mean you cannot ski
More
than
than
4 times per day, correct?
per day, correct?
Right. So you can ski 4 times Saturday. You can ski 4 times Sunday.
Yep. So you have 8
So
runs in a weekend.
8
yeah.
runs in a week.
So
That's
if
that's a lot of fucking runs.
Yeah, but even 4, like after 3, you're ready for your 4th, and after your 4th run, you're pretty much good for the day.
If you're still standing after that, you're lucky.
Yeah, you're pretty well exhausted. You carried your adrenaline through, because the biggest thing that happened at Ridgeway is we had 3 runs ready to go, and Monty was lame on Saturday morning, and Monty's a horse. So he was lame Saturday morning, and it was probably maybe an hour before we were supposed to run.
Yep,
And we were
yep.
going to do the switcheroo, and it was supposed to be AJ and I.
Which Richard Weber, you would have lost your fucking buckle, dude.
Dude, they would have lost.
Dude,
I
hands
think
down.
AJ and I had it down to go.
You guys had it. I mean,
Yeah. So, yeah, that would have been one other run, and then I had a regular sport run behind Monty.
oh yeah.
So that would have been 3 runs in the day, and that's pretty good. Like 3 to 4 runs is perfect.
Yep.
But Monty was lame, so then all we had was our runs behind T.
Yep.
And so we had 1 run, and it was our first race of the year because Meeker was canceled.
Yeah.
Didn't have enough snow.
In the fucking Open in Ridgeway.
Yeah, our
Which is
first
like
race of the year.
Which Ridgeway Open race probably, not probably, hands down, probably, I keep saying probably, hands down the fucking hardest race
I
of
would
the
say
year.
the hardest.
Yeah.
The hardest race.
Technical wise. Like Tyler's such a technical slalom ski track. Like it's definitely the hardest one to ski of the year.
So we hadn't skied Skijor at all since Leadville the year before.
Yep.
So we went right into Ridgeway, first run behind
9 months off.
Yeah, behind Tyrone, which is very fast horse.
Yeah.
In a very technical course, in a very challenging field.
Yeah, in that field, he's not very fast.
And I was stoked to finish. I was stoked to not push myself, and I just dropped the rope or something like that. Because I've done that before. You try too hard, and you know that it's a challenging field. So you're like, all right, you got to go balls to the wall, and you got to get everything. So I think I had just missed a couple gates, and I got to the end, and it was like, all right, I'm proud of the run. I'm not stoked with it, but here we are.
Yeah, and I think you were my only clean run that day, right? Because AJ Pistello was my other skier. I think he fell that one.
I wasn't a clean run. I missed.
I think he fell before the gap.
I
think he fell on the turn or something.
Yeah, I think he dropped the rope. I don't think he fell.
I remember he DNF'd.
Yeah, I think I had missed a gate or two, and it sucks because you didn't have
In fact, the gates or two that you missed are all over the fucking internet.
Oh yeah,
it's
I know.
that
It's
little.
so funny.
It's that clip that Josh put out.
Yeah, it's so
of
funny.
me and me.
You can blatantly see me. Just blow
you can
right
see
past
him
the two
totally.
gates.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. No, but I remember seeing I was pretty bummed at myself that I missed those, but I was okay with it because seeing everybody else, their first couple runs, they missed those two gates or more,
sure.
And just having one run I think is so hard because you need to have 2 to 3 runs to kind of get used to what you're doing and hone in your skills and know the track and maybe talk to your rider like, hey, slow down right here, which we just didn't really have, and we weren't we was knocking the dust off in the Super Bowl pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, even on my end too, that was probably the most adrenaline dump race I got because it was like, oh, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's always a long
There's
track.
so much anticipation.
So, I mean, that run on Saturday though, that open field, it wiped out some of the best, in my opinion, some of the best skiers in the sport. Even
Absolutely.
they all Tyler McKnight, I'm pretty sure he didn't ski all of his clean. Tyler Smedger definitely didn't ski his clean.
Jim Ryan, I
don't think did. I don't think
Kevin
Schuler,
Lang did.
Coulter did. And I mean, I don't know if there's any skier that had all clean runs. And
that day,
forgive me if I'm throwing you under the bus, but I mean, I could pull up the results and look. But off my memory, Saturday was dirty, and it was
very dirty.
It was not pretty.
No, because
you could tell nobody had Skijor in a while.
No, and that's why Meeker is such a great race because it's a smaller community, but it's an awesome track, and I think it's kind of the first welcome back.
Yeah,
here's a great race for everybody to knock the dust off, and kind of see everybody again and get back into the swing of things, and then you can go into Ridgeway a little more dialed in. But going into Ridgeway with nothing under your belt that year. And
right. That's a rough, that's like going into the Olympic trials as your first fucking race of the year.
Yeah.
It's not a good first race.
It's
tough. It's fun. It's a fun first race. And it kind of sucks because I don't like that race being so early in the season because it's hey, yeah, great. And then it's gone. It's
you want to be better.
All the other big races though, there's anticipation to them. And we have other races in between. But anyways, so yeah, we would have done Meeker this year, but it was canceled because there was no snow.
So we started off with Ridgeway.
So and Ridgeway's the first.
And then Pagosa was after that.
Springs, which also had no fucking snow. It was a 100% man-made track. That was insane because we were where my trailer was parked and the horses were, it was total dirt, dust.
Absolute dirt, which
and
was
kind of
nice.
That was hands down. I think the weather at that race was worse than Saratoga.
It was
as far as wind.
I wouldn't say it was worse than Saratoga, but I think it was sunny and it was cold. And then I think it was that.
And that wind was blowing so hard, but there was no snow to hold. So it was fucking dust everywhere.
Yeah, you were getting
not
dusty.
often do you go to a Skijor race and you're worried about dust.
Never.
It's not supposed to happen, but
you're usually worried about mud and snow.
So we had Pagosa, and Pagosa was, you won checks, right?
Yeah, so Pagosa, I think,
did you win a check behind me?
Most successful race.
This year?
I was trying to remember if I did win a check behind you. I think we might have gotten
we did
one.
Third.
I think we might have gotten third because
Could be wrong.
I think I won a check or two on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I think that might have been with Lauren. And then I think I would have to look back.
So Saturday, I can tell you right now off the top of my head, I know AJ took first.
Yep.
And then him and I took second on Saturday. And then did you have third or fourth?
I think I might have had third or fourth.
Yeah.
I would have to look back. It's kind of hard to remember. Sunday we threw down pretty hard because I remember
AJ fell at the finish line behind me.
Yeah, so AJ and
could have been like a buckle run.
AJ and I kind of did a little switch. So he skied bomber on Saturday.
And then he croaked. But he still got a buckle.
Yeah, and then I cleaned it up on Sunday really well.
Yeah.
And we were almost neck and neck skiing behind the same horse.
Yeah.
With Lauren Urista skiing behind Sirius. And he had skied, I think, a couple hundredths of a second faster than me on Saturday. And then on Sunday, he DNF'd, or he didn't DNF. I think he missed a gate or something on that run.
Who? AJ?
AJ, yeah.
On Sirius?
Something like that.
Wasn't that the one he won the buckle on?
Yeah, because...
So he didn't miss anything if he wouldn't have won the buckle. He skied it clean.
I'm not totally... It's hard to remember, but I know that...
He crashed behind T.
He did crash behind T.
He skied clean behind Sirius.
Yeah, and then... Yep, you're right. Yeah, he crashed behind T. And
behind me.
Yeah, but then I remember the way the results panned out, I was like 2/100ths of a second from getting
off of him,
from stealing that buckle from him.
Oh yeah, I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah,
dude, it's crazy
but I ended up because I remember I had the fastest run of the day on Sunday. Yeah. But it wasn't enough to offset the average. But it was close.
Right. Cause I'm trying to remember
but I think I got a couple checks that weekend.
You did.
Or two or three.
And that was on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Kimber Cook walked up to me. She goes, "This is the first time I've never won a check."
That was so funny.
It's humbling. And I was like, welcome to real life, bitch. To a 15-year-old.
To a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's the only sport you talk shit to 15-year-olds.
I bring my two skiers in. We fucking clean house. It was good. That was a good race.
Yeah.
I feel like that was
it was a really fun race. Yeah. I think it was kind of like the second race of the season.
Yeah.
Ridgeway was not a wash, but it was with the scratched horse. It was a challenge.
Yeah.
And then Pagosa was when it was like, all right, we're back.
Dude, but as a rider, I fucking hated that track.
A lot of people said
that. Dude,
I remember Lauren saying that.
The footing was so bad. It was so bad. It was dangerously bad, and I should not have ran my horses in it, to be honest, but it is what it is. And nobody got hurt after the fact, so it was good. But yeah, so footing was bad on top was one thing.
And you had to run through that little tiny
Dude, that was the worst. Was you had like a left-hand turn to a right-hand turn through that fucking around that water sprinkler, that electrical box, wherever it was. And you ended up going so far wide off that track.
Lauren went up onto the bank.
Yeah, you end up not there's no snow. So you either go and then that left side of that track at the finish line was so fucking deep.
And then that 10-foot tall tabletop that they had. It was 10 or 12 foot tall tabletop.
Honestly, hands down, I don't like to talk bad, but I would tell this to the race organizers to their face right now. But that was hands down, dude. I can't believe a horse didn't flip on that track. It was bad, but I mean, thank God nobody got hurt. No horses got hurt. No skiers. I mean,
I think skiers
definitely got hurt.
Yeah,
but that's skijoring. That's not the horse's fault.
Yeah, it was still a fun race.
No, it was absolutely.
It was put on
but as
really
a rider, I did not actually enjoy riding. Yeah, it was not fun for me, riding wise. But
yep. And then I think
we survived.
Yeah, we did survive. We walked away with some money. That was We were on cloud 9 after that one for sure.
Pagosa, what was that? Would you have a break?
We had a weekend break after that because I think Estes Park was right after that one.
Okay, so Estes Park was that following.
We didn't go to Estes.
And I mean
the following one was.
Dude, see, it's crazy. We came in. We're fucking blanking. I think the following one after Estes was Saratoga.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah.
Because
I remember
I'm trying
I
to look
only
at a
skied-
calendar because I know what
Yeah,
weekend
'cause I was-
races were, but
That was number 3 because I skied 4 races this year.
yeah.
So, yeah, the following weekend.
Saratoga was the first weekend in February.
Yeah, so Saratoga, Wyoming, way up in a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
And there's nothing going on. They didn't really have snow either. They were on the verge of canceling.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
when
they
I was-
didn't have snow.
For sure. When I was talking to Richard, because like obviously he was one of the huge helps to help me put my race on. He was like, we were talking middle of January. He was like, I think I'm going to cancel. And I was like, fuck, dude, really? And he's like, dude, we have no snow. And I was like,
Yep.
well, I mean, can't run a Skijor race without snow.
Yeah, and
then they got like one dumper of a storm and it pretty much saved them.
and he just piled it on.
Yeah.
He just
I mean, they
took
did
advantage.
They absolutely did the best they could with what they had.
Yep.
But
It was still a cool track.
yeah.
I really enjoyed skiing that track because you could tell that they were working with bare bones,
Yeah.
but they still pulled it off really well. Yeah, track was really fun to ski. They had a lot of good little banks, which I enjoy, and they had like multiple gaps and
Yeah.
then like some whoop sections, and it felt like a dirt bike track almost, which I really enjoyed. And they still had rings.
Yep.
Um,
Dude, such a controversial subject.
what do you mean?
Fucking rings and a
Oh,
Skijor track
such a
now.
controversial.
So controversial.
Yeah, a lot of people don't
Dude,
like
it's
it. But
it's either hate or love.
I think I just like the variety.
I like how it can just really, I mean, I like how it just adds another factor to it. Like you could literally be like fucking first place on Saturday by 4 seconds
Yeah.
just to kind of set the scene of like how crazy Skijor can be. You could be first place Saturday by like 4 or 5 seconds. All you have to do is just ski it, right? And you win.
You drop a ring
And you could, or drop a rope.
or 2 rings.
Or fall. And you're all
and it
sudden,
happens. Yeah.
all of a sudden nothing. So
yeah.
I do like, I would say I'm in favor of the rings.
It mixes it up.
For sure. It just adds another factor into like,
Yep.
hey, just because you're the fastest, the best doesn't mean you're going to win.
Not at all.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. No, they had a lot
you
of
have
rings.
to be perfect.
They had good rings. They had good gaps. I mean, definitely the most gaps in any track of the year. None of them were huge, but
No.
they were. It was like real flowy, kind of pumpy. I mean, I didn't ski it, but looking and watching it,
Yeah.
that's what I
it
would kind of
flowed
describe
very
it.
well.
And-
All of the jumps like were very smooth. There was like 2 gaps right after each other, and then like a big gap, and
Yeah.
then another couple gaps at the end,
And distance wise too, I would say that's like that distance is kind of in line with Ridgeway. It's like that's my favorite distance. to
Yeah, how
run.
long was that one?
I think Richard said they were 1,100. He measured it. I want to say he was 1,100, and like that 1,100 to 1,200 foot range for a track, I think is like the
Perfect.
the sweet spot. Like you get enough distance where your horse can like actually like just get going. And
Yeah.
it's not so short. Like some like Leadville and like our races, like they're so short that you're just getting into the groove when you're finishing.
You want more.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
God damn, I want another 500 feet out of this. And
I mean,
but
Yeah, that goes back to
Yeah.
you always want more poles.
but like even the horses,
to
dude,
do
like,
it more.
like the horses are just so jacked at the end of a short track that it's like they're like, that's it. Like I just got going for that.
Oh, I can see what you're saying.
So like
yeah.
it doesn't like I find my horses perform better and are more relaxed on the longer tracks.
I can see that because they get fully tired and worked
Yeah.
on a longer track
Yeah.
than versus a shorter track.
It's like doing a 100
good
versus
approach.
an 800 on a track race. If you ever
Yeah.
ran,
no,
I was
I've never,
an 800 runner, so I know what it feels like. It sucks.
you're
But,
still
yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think that's my favorite. But dude, talk about holy fuck, did they not have snow?
Oh my god, yeah, that was
dude, it was straight mud. Like
it
we
was
were,
mud, and yeah, they were
and
they
they
were
had-
dealing with it pretty hard.
They had some factors that did not. Like it was 50 something degrees the day before. Or no, it was
Yeah.
freezing ass cold, right? So it was, if I'm trying to remember correctly, it was super warm like the week leading up, and then it tanked the night before we got there on Friday.
Yeah,
Because I remember we got there and the water was frozen. So it had to have gotten pretty cold overnight.
yeah,
Because one of the hydrants froze.
yeah, and I mean, just
and
for every factor, I mean, they had everything built against them,
Oh yeah, dude.
and they still pulled it off,
Yep.
and it was still a solid race. It was great.
Well, it goes to show that it's not all about necessarily the race. That I think what makes or breaks a good Skijor race, and from the competitor standpoint, it's all the other factors, like where the horses go at night, like where's the spectators, like
Where's the water?
Where's water for horses? That's always a big one. But like, it's the other stuff, right? It's the camaraderie. It's the what's the bar scene like? Like, you don't have to drink. In fact, there's a lot of Skijor competitors that don't drink anymore, and I was one of them this year. So you don't have to drink to have fun at the bars.
Not
it's
at
just,
all. It's just kind of the hangout.
But it's definitely that stuff, I think, that makes or breaks. Like, that race was enjoyable in my mind just from like hanging around the people we hung around. Like on Friday night, dude.
Oh, we were hanging out.
Dude, we were at that
shit for.
Was that the Elks Lodge?
Yeah, no, it was that. I don't remember what the name of that restaurant was.
No. I'm talking like on Friday night registration night.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
it's the Elks Lodge.
It's an Elks Lodge.
When I got the news. So yeah. I mean, going back to that, right? So Saratoga, we're sitting there. Water was frozen, and I was the first one to pull up for that day. Like, there was a couple other people that were there earlier that had gotten there like a day or two before that.
Yeah,
were helping with the
I think
race.
AJ and I were still on the road.
Yeah,
there.
So we had gotten there like noon Friday. Okay. And I get my horses putting away in their pens, and Richard, there's hydrants everywhere, so I go turn all the hydrants on. I'm like, fuck, none of these are working. And it's kind of a running joke in the Skijor world, if you own horses, of how far are we going to have to carry water to water these horses?
Or for any of the skiers that help out too.
We're typically at fairgrounds in the wintertime, and if we're not at a fairground in the wintertime, we're in a town in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Nobody keeps their water on in these mountain towns in the wintertime.
Not at all. They all have temporary hydrants.
For a reason, right? Everything freezes. So it's always a kind of a crapshoot of where we're going to get water from. I mean, there's been many times where I filled out of Airbnb bathtubs for my horses.
I think the worst one was filling out of the river in Bondurant.
Oh, yeah, dude. We were fucking like Skijor rope, 33-foot rope on the end of a bucket, standing on the bed of my truck, dunking it over a bridge.
Stop in the middle of the bridge. Lower it down.
That was the craziest.
Fill it up,
for sure.
Pull it back up, and do multiple laps until we get enough water.
Yeah. So anyway, so I pulled up at Saratoga, no water. I was like, fucking kidding me? This place usually has water. And I see Richard Raymer pull up, and I'm like, dude, tell me that your water's not frozen. He was like, oh, it's so frozen. I was like, fuck, dude, that sucks. What can I do to help you? And he's like, well, he had his ground heater on it, at least. Like, thank God he had a ground heater. I don't know if that helped or not, but
concrete blanket.
We went and popped the well head, or like where the well pump, all the pumps were.
Right.
And got in straight from that faucet, like the drain basically off the well. Okay, so I hooked a garden hose up to that, which was down in a hole. Like a 10-foot hole, like you had to jump down in it.
Yeah, was that they ended up throwing like a concrete blanket hooked up to a generator?
That was on the that was over the hydrant that was frozen.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was one of the best solutions.
Yeah, no, it worked, but it didn't work quick enough, right? So we got there and we had no water.
Had to do that Friday or Thursday.
So we're
evening.
Sitting there, and there's this one other girl that's there. So it's me, my wife, this other girl who I'll name in a second, and then Skylar. We were the 3 horse owners that were there, okay?
Right.
And this chick standing there, and I didn't know who the fuck she was. And we're talking, and she's like, I'm like, oh, where are you from? She's like, Montana. I'm like, oh, cool. You came down here. That's pretty good haul for Montana to come to Saratoga. She's like, yeah, it's kind of my family reunion race. My brothers come up here. They live in Colorado, and they come up here, and I meet them, and, and my mom comes, and this and that. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's, Skijor to become your family reunion. Okay. A few minutes go by, and we're just sitting there filling water. She goes, fuck, my brother's truck broke down. And I'm like, oh, damn, that sucks. She goes, yeah, he's got horses. And I'm like, oh, is he coming up here? She's like, where is he at? She's like, base of Rabbit Ears. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude, that's like 2 hours away. That's not close. It's not far, but it's not close. And I was like, wait, so your brother's Skijor? She goes, yeah. I'm like, he's from Colorado? She's like, yeah. I'm like, who's your fucking brother? She's like, Nick. And I was like, Nick? Like Nick from Leadville?
We know that guy.
She's like, yeah. I said, Nick Enenfeld, your brother? She's like, yeah. And I go, what's your name? She's like, I'm Brandy. And I was like, oh, nice to meet you, Brandy. I said, here's the keys to my truck.
Right.
I said, go pick your brother up because nobody else's truck is going to be able to pull him. Okay.
Right.
Because I know his wreck. He's pulling with a little tractor trailer, but he's got an old Sooner. I think it's a Sooner. Like it's
a semi.
Fucking huge. Like his trailer's
pretty
like
much
30,
a small semi.
No, his trailer's 45 feet long, I think, because he's a little longer than me. And he brings like 3 or 4 horses, but he's also a farrier. And so I know him very well just through that because we kind of work the same area. And and I knew like all his farrier shit's in there. Like that's his work, like life. Like that's his home on wheels, basically. And I was like, go get your fucking brother. It's like 4, I don't know, it's probably 4 p.m. by now.
Yeah.
I was like, just go get him. She was like, I'm not driving your truck. I said, you don't have a fucking choice. I said, I'm not driving my truck. I just drove all that way already, and I don't want to go back. I said,
go get him.
I said, it's 2 hours that way and 2 hours this way. I said, my truck will pull him. And I handed her the keys. I'm like, granted, I mean, it's a fucking brand new truck.
Brand new.
Like, I got that truck a month before.
Yeah.
And I only use it for skijoring, like to pull my horse trailer.
You had used it at
It's a
Ridgeway.
Yeah.
And
it's a brand new truck. Like, not to put a price tag on or anything, but it's $100,000 truck. Like, brand new $100,000 truck. And I just handed the keys. Still has temp plates on. Like, I haven't even registered it yet.
Handed the keys to a stranger.
To a stranger, basically. I said, but go get them. But I would do it again tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. Which is funny because
and he was coming back, pulling his trailer, and he was literally like 500 yards from the entrance to the fairgrounds, and his trailer went off the road a little bit and kind of smashed the bed of my brand new truck in.
It was pretty,
but
it was bad.
You know,
news,
shit happens, dude. Like, he made it up there. His horses were safe. He was safe. I would do it again.
Solve the problem.
I would do it again tomorrow. Like, even though my bed got smashed in, I was like, dude, don't worry about my bed. It's a fucking materialistic object.
It's a truck.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's
going to happen. I said, we'll get it fixed. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
My bed's still broken, by the way, but I'm trying to get it fixed. I can't be down in a truck during the middle of skijoring season. Like, the season just ended. So
yeah. He was very
he felt bad, but
he felt really bad, and he was apologetic and ready to help remedy the situation. But
he made it to his family reunion and raced, and he raced the rest of the year. He ended up getting his truck fixed and everything. And so
yeah, that one was funny because AJ and I ran into him when he was broken down, and I think everybody
Duffy had pulled him with his fucking little Tundra off the highway.
Yeah, I think everybody that was driving to that race had pulled off at the same pull-off to take a piss.
Oh, yeah, I pulled off there to take a piss. My wife took a piss there.
And AJ and I pulled up, and we were like, I'm pretty sure that's Nick. And we pulled up, and he's, greasy, covered from head to toe, just pissed off, sweating. And you could tell he was having a hard time. And we had, kind of gone back and forth about maybe going to get AJ's truck. And my truck was too small to pull that trailer. And we had eventually figured out that AJ's truck was too small to pull that trailer. And
his truck probably would have pulled it, but it would have been a motherfucker.
Yeah. And then I think the logistics of having AJ's truck go get it. And I think Brandy was already on her way. So that was the kicker.
Yeah, I mean, literally as soon as I heard he was broke down, I was like, here's the keys, go get him.
Go get him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been skiing with Nick for that was the second year we had
it's
puttering around.
That's not the first time I've helped Nick with a broke down truck at a Skijor race.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You might have been in the truck. Remember?
Oh, yeah, Craig? I do remember that.
Remember Craig? Yep.
Yeah, his truck.
With my fucking bum leg.
His battery was dead.
Yeah, I was on crutches, and I get out and help him jump his truck in the middle of the fairgrounds.
That was when we met him.
That was when I officially met him face to face. Okay.
Yep.
So, like I said, he's a farrier in the same area, and I had known who he was just through the grapevine and through other clients and vets and stuff like that. But I never met him face to face. I just hadn't happened yet. And he lives I work in his town, and he lives as the crow flies, it's fucking 10 miles basically from me. But he it's about an hour, 15 hour and a half. And and he gets out, and I could tell he was a farrier. Like, he had a farrier rig with him. Like,
yep,
he had an anvil and a forge and boxes and all that shit. And so I get out, I'm like, you good, buddy? And he's like, I could use a jump if you don't mind. I was like, sure, I got jumper cables, I can jump you. And I get out of the passenger seat because my wife was driving.
And she was pregnant. wasn't she?
No, we had already had the kid.
Oh, yeah, Lily was already here.
She was already born, yeah. So, but I could not walk. Like, so I just got out of the ER with a fucking
Yep.
like obliterated leg from the fucking
Exploded leg.
ankle to the knee. I was fucked. And I went to urgent care in a small town ER. So they basically gave me like a soft cast, which is not what I needed, but it
And
got me
crutches.
through to go home. Yeah. And so I'm hopping out in the deepest mud too, frozen, like that frozen mud, fairground mud. And he's like, "Oh man, what happened to you?" I was like, "Oh, I fucking went to flat on that jump." And he's like, "Oh shit, dude." And he goes, "Oh, I saw that." And I was like, "Yep, that was me." He goes, "Well, fuck, I hope you don't have to use your leg for a living." And I was like, "Oh, funny thing is yeah, I do. I'm a farrier." And he's like, "No, you're not." I said, "Swear to God, dude." He's
Yep.
like, "Well, if you ever need help, let me know." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I might need help. I'm definitely going to need help, but I will let you know." And I think I reached out to him, but I actually, I managed pretty well with work-wise. But so not the first time I helped Nick with a broke down truck at a race. That's what we do. Because I'm going to be in that.
Like the best part.
I'm absolutely going to be in that same boat one day. And I hope that
Yeah.
Nick's there to help me. And in fact, Nick has helped me out a bunch with our race, like with trailer and logistics of getting stuff moved up to Grand Lake. So
yeah,
he's definitely helped me out a bunch.
It's like my favorite part about the community is everybody is ready to throw down whatever they're doing to help you out. No matter what's going on.
I mean, I can think of more than at least one time that there's been skiers in the fucking starting gate and their skis are broken and other dudes have like pulled skis off of them, their own feet. And,
I've done that myself.
Yeah, adjusted bindings and say, "Here you go," goes and then
I think I did that in Bondurant. Or like, "Hey, I have an extra pair of skis. You can use these for the weekend."
For sure, we don't want to see anybody like not compete because of stupid bullshit like that.
Yeah, especially if we have the ability to help them out in any situation.
Anyways, so that was Saratoga. We're still going through 2025.
Yep, Saratoga. So that was third race of the season.
Yep. Okay. And now, next is
Craig. Yeah, so that was the following.
Holy fuck, dude! That race was also fucking jinxed by weather.
Yeah, that race.
Like, dude, weather did not help any Skijor race out this year. The only race that I feel like did not get totally fucked, and I bet you Richard Weber would tell me I'm a fucking idiot, but I feel like the only race that I went to this year that I didn't feel like we got totally bent over sideways in the state of Colorado was Ridgeway.
Yeah, they made a bunch of snow.
They make their snow, but they also so they planned for
it.
But
they did it really well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like. Weather-wise, though, factors like it snowed one day and it was sunny one day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they got really lucky with weather.
And it wasn't too hot. It wasn't too hot.
It was cold enough that you were still wearing a jacket.
I don't think it was freezing.
No, and it wasn't miserably cold or windy. So I think they
Sunday
got
night,
lucky.
I feel like it was fucking freezing when I woke up to leave at like 5 a.m.
But of course, Craig...
dude,
we're
Craig,
driving there on Friday night
and
it's raining.
Fucking raining, dude. I have never seen it rain in Craig.
I've never seen
in
it
the
rain
winter time.
Yeah, I've never seen it rain in February.
It literally,
in
like,
Colorado.
I pull up and I'm like, dude, it is 50 fucking 2 degrees. There's no way this is gonna work.
No,
and
it was muddy, and
dude.
They hadn't even built the track yet.
So like the track was like built in the middle, but they hadn't finished, obviously. But like. For honestly though, like I said, for conditions that they were dealt with, the shit that the hand that they were given,
they figured it out.
They pulled it off. I mean, they still had a good race. They good track, good crowd. I mean, it was like Craig definitely was. They were fucked by Mother Nature, like and that's usually a good fun track. I mean, it was not like it wasn't fun and it wasn't good, but I mean, it was not.
I think they were battling a lot of mud.
Yeah. I mean, we were apart in like fucking a foot of mud by the end of the day. I mean, we started the morning out. It was cold, teens if I remember, and then like by middle of the day it'd be like in the fucking 30s. So it's a running mud pit. Basically, like they didn't want cars coming in and out. Like it was,
they were.
Yeah, it was not.
They had it locked down, and they built the track in a different spot.
Yeah, in the middle,
because
like
of the mud.
at the high ground
in the fairgrounds, just because everywhere else was 6 inches of mud and water.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was a good track, but unfortunately,
Yeah, that was
We
that
ended
was,
up
that was
in
my
the-
last skiing
yeah.
race.
We
of the
ended up
season.
in the ER at that race now 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Opposite hands though.
Yeah.
So tell me about that, right? So I was pulling you. Obviously,
Yeah, so
I knew that.
Saturday went well. I had some clean runs. I had some good times. I was ready to go into Sunday, kind of clean it up, be fast. I think I was still potentially looking at a buckle or
I think so.
some
I think
average
you were-
treks.
yeah.
I was like sitting pretty well.
Yep.
First run,
But not with my horse, with Euristas.
I think it was with the Euristas.
I think it was
they
with
were-
Lauren or Janelle. It might have been Janelle.
I think it was
with
with Janelle.
Ziva.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Because this was a 3D format, correct?
It was 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had
So
four
no
runs. I
open.
had 2 runs behind you.
So no open for people that don't understand what we're talking about. So 1D, 2D, 3D. So we're all raced the same track, one division, and the division is broke up based on results for the day. Okay, so 1D would be your fastest time, all the way down to a 1.5 second split, and that 1.5 second split would be where your 2D first place time starts. Okay, then we go 1.5 seconds down from that first place 2D time, and that'd be where your 3D first place time starts. And then they're usually paid out 1 through 3, 1 through 3, 1 through 3. Okay, go back to explaining what you're explaining.
Yeah. So yeah, Saturday was clean. I think I was sitting up in the 1D. I had skied behind you a couple times, and then Janelle and Lauren. So that's 2 runs behind the Euristas. So 4 total runs in the day. And then
I think I was your last run for the day.
Yeah, I think you
with Monty
on Saturday. Yep, you were.
Because I think Dell pulled you with Henry.
Yeah,
T.
With T.
Just T. Yeah, you were just T. AJ was just Henry or something.
It was
like
T. Or no, I think it was Henry and Monty.
Okay.
And then I think she pulled AJ with T.
Yeah, and then so you
and
had Henry, Monty, Ziva, and
Sirius.
Okay.
Ziva or Annie. I always get those mixed up. I
I
can't.
think it was Ziva.
It might have been. Yeah, so Saturday was good runs, good times. I don't think I had placed. I think I was like 3rd or 4th place. I don't think I got anything on Saturday.
Okay.
Or no, I did.
I thought you did.
I did, yep. No, that was when AJ and I tied for 2nd place.
Okay.
AJ and I tied 2nd place, so we basically took 2nd and 3rd.
Nice.
So got check on Saturday for day money.
Oh, didn't one of you guys placed on the 2D with Henry or T?
I think Dell did, pulling somebody.
Not AJ? Or
Might
you?
have been AJ.
Might
Or
have
no,
been AJ.
maybe it was the snowboarder.
No.
I would have to look back.
No, but yeah, she placed 2D too, I think.
Yeah, I remember she placed with something. So yeah, felt good after Saturday, ready to go into Sunday. It's sunny, warm, good weather, good day. Had my first run behind Janelle. Solid run. It was clean.
It was fast as fuck.
Super fast.
Like-
And I was like, it was my first, I think it was, or I guess it was my 2nd time skiing behind Janelle, because that was my first race behind Janelle.
Okay.
And we had done well on Saturday, so it was like, all right, let's send it. Then I think there was that one dirty gate, and I was like, get me through that one gate.
Yep.
You don't have to check too much, just
Right at the kind of the 4th gate on the start, basically, or 2nd gate on the start. You had the 2 rings.
2 rings
had
and then a gate.
Yeah.
And that was the one. Then
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, hey, this one's a little far. Just don't blow me out of the water right away. Just make sure I
'Cause
get there and then send it.
Because it fucked up like the first 5 skiers, I feel like.
Yeah,
Just
and so-
destroyed that gate.
Yeah, so we were just trying to be cautious, like, hey, we already have a good time. Let's get a good time, clean run. Just get me through that gate and we're good. So we get through there, super fast, clean run, and it was right over the intercom here, fastest run of the day, first place.
And it was like by a lot
And
already.
it was by like a second,
yeah.
I think.
You were like a 13.98, I feel like.
Yeah, and it was.
And we were all like in the
was-
14s.
It was quick, and we
Yeah.
were stoked.
Yeah, I was like,
And then-
nobody's going to beat that.
And then David Strickbine comes the next run behind
It's always
Lauren Urista, so
it's
Janelle's
always
daughter.
that motherfucker. It's always
Yeah.
David Strickbine.
And I think he beat me on that run with
About like 100th.
yeah, like 100th. It was so close.
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it was like, you bastard, beat me. All right, good job. And then those 2 times held.
Yeah.
And then so my next run was you and Monty, and I was feeling good, ready to go. I already had a clean run. I knew Monty was a little bit slower, but I was like, hey, maybe we can still get 2D run. You never know. But let's just ski clean.
Yeah, because you just fucked the 1D up with your times.
I did,
you and
yeah.
Strickbine absolutely fucked
We
us
blew
all.
it up all the way.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right,
it
just clean the rest of these runs, and we'll see where we fall.
Right. Well, when you blow the field out by like half a second, right? So the next time, like basically that takes half that second off that 1D split. So it only ends up being like, so if I'm a second slower than you, I'm essentially in 2D.
Yeah.
Or a second and a half slower, but a second, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You fall into.
So I could have just like slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah.
And probably been first place 2D, but
yeah, felt good. Went to that channel gap, which was, that was a tough gap. And I had felt myself going slower than my first run. Obviously, it was just a little bit of a slower horse, so I felt myself going slower, and I was trying to clear the gap in the same way that I cleared it on my first run. And so I popped a little bit more, and because I popped a little bit more, I caught a little bit more slack in the rope midair. And when I landed, we were landing at an uphill landing, essentially. Not super ideal, but it is what it is. And I absorbed that landing a little bit, and the slack in the rope tightened. And right when it tightened, it just pulled my shoulder right out.
Fucking yanked you.
Just yanked it. And I was like, wow, that really hurt. Obviously, adrenaline's pumping. I'm in the middle of the run.
Yep.
I was like halfway through the run, still needing to finish it out. So
right.
I'm like, I've dropped the rope enough times. I know that I just need to hold on. And so get up, and it was going into the next gap jump. And by the time I'm midair at that big gap, I'm like, wow, something's not right. And then I land, still swing my arm up.
It's your right arm, correct?
Yeah. My right arm is dislocated from the shoulder, and I swing
we
it
don't
up
know. We don't know this at the time.
We don't know this at the time, but
it just hurts really bad.
Hurts really bad. And I'd swing it up, get a ring, and then finish. And I'm still.
And the ring is on your right arm.
The ring is on my right arm.
I think it was 2 rings.
It might have been. I think it might have just been one. I think I've watched that video enough to be like, wow, I did that.
So you have the fucking.
I have the GoPro
on GoPro.
GoPro POV from my helmet.
And I've seen it, and it's, it doesn't do the injury justice. All you hear is this, fuck in it. And then he keeps skiing, and you can kind of hear him grunting through pain and agony and all this shit. But
it's at the end you can kind of tell, because you can see my shadow really clearly when I'm holding my arm, and I'm like, oh no, and I like kind of collapse to my knees.
Well, in what you didn't get on GoPro because you turned it off so fast, which I wish you hadn't have, is I look back and I see you, okay, and I see you finish, and I'm like, yeah, he finished, good job. And I see you got all the rings, so I'm like, sweet. And I didn't hear, and you can hear Brandon on the intercom, and I'm like, I don't hear any penalties.
I missed a gate.
Oh, you did miss a gate. Okay, so I was like, and that was probably when I was like, oh, fuck.
It was right after I landed. I missed the gate.
That's right.
I was like, something's wrong.
And I turn around, and you're already out of your skis, which is kind of not normal for you. And you may or may not remember this. You kind of fucking probably blacked out a little bit.
I can remember it pretty clearly still.
But I turn around, and luckily my horse stops really well, so I was not that far from you. And I turned around, and I rode back, and I could see you holding your arm with your left hand, like holding it. And I was like, oh, fuck. He either broke his shoulder or broke his collarbone, or his shoulder's dislocated. Those were my 2
right. But I didn't crash.
But I was like, he didn't crash, so there's no way it's a broken collarbone. So I'm like, oh, it's for sure fucking dislocated. Like, I know that look with my...
Yeah, you have some EMT background.
Yeah, so I was a career firefighter for years. So, so I looked back, and I was like, and I jumped off my horse, and I think I threw the reins to somebody. I was like, hold him.
One of the volunteers.
Yeah. And they're like, we're like barely off the track, and they're like, we're going to keep running. And I was like, sure, go for it. Like, we're out of the way. Like, if somebody fucking hits me, I'll knock them out, But so I jump off and I feel behind your shoulder up where they usually will separate and kind of in that area. And I could have jammed my finger down.
Oh,
And I was like, dude, your shoulder's dislocated. We got to get you to the hospital.
yeah.
And there's a side-by-side that's running you guys back up and forth the track.
Right.
Or back up to the start of the track, right? So in my trailer/truck, we're just beyond that. And I was like, get on. And you were like in so much fucking pain.
I didn't know where to tell him to go.
I was like,
he was like, where do you want me to drop
I was like,
him?
go to my truck. I go out the fairgrounds, first trailer on your left. You can't miss it. It's the big one. And he goes, all right. And he still like kind of didn't really figure it out. So I jump back on my horse and I'm hauling ass, running my horse through this fucking mud parking lot.
Right.
So this guy can follow me, get off. And at the time, I passed my wife. My wife was warming up, I think Henry.
Yeah.
And you were sitting on the back of the tailgate of this Ranger, like kind of passing out, like slumped over.
I
Like
was
you did
out
not,
of it.
You did not look good. And I
Yeah.
looked at her and she couldn't hear me. And I just was like, I gave her like the cut it off sign, like slashing her hand across your neck type of deal. Yeah.
Scratch me.
And she looks at you and she goes, oh, I could just see her mouth like, oh, fuck. And she comes right over. She goes, what's wrong? And I go, his shoulder's dislocated. We got to get his ski boots off and get him in the truck. She's like, oh, fuck. And I was like, and take my horse.
Yeah. Here, do all this.
So I tied my horse up. I loosened his cinch real quick, at least, because I knew I was going to be gone for a while. Got your ski boots off. I think your boots were still in your truck, which was parked in the fairgrounds.
Everything was in everything was left in my truck.
And it was hot. You were sweaty. And it was...
Yeah.
So I rode over, grabbed your shit out of your truck because I couldn't get your truck out of there because they didn't want us driving in and out of the fairgrounds.
Well, and I think there was like 10 people standing in the back of it, just tailgating.
I think one of them was my kid.
Yeah.
Like I think my kid was
family was there.
Yeah, so I go over, grab your wallet because we needed that because I was like, we're going to the hospital. I need your insurance card and your ID. They're gonna want those.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe.
So
grab
I drove
some
over,
extra shoes.
grabbed your shit. I grabbed your change of clothes and I threw him in my truck. And you're like holding your arm. I was like, get in the fucking truck. So we drove, and I was like, well, thank God I know where the fucking hospitals are because I was just here exactly a year ago.
1 year ago, we were here.
Yeah. And we went to that urgent care in the Walmart parking lot. And thank God it was fucking closed because that place would have sent us up to the ER anyways. But
yeah.
So I drove to the ER, which is past the Murdochs up the hill. And we're like going over the littlest bumps. You're like, dude, ow, that fucking hurts. Slow down. I was like,
every little bump hurt.
I was like, imagine being laying down in a fucking ambulance, like how bad it would hurt.
Yeah.
Like it would hurt so much worse. So we get you in there and get you all checked in. And you're like, I'm going to pass out. I think we put you in a wheelchair, didn't we? Wheeled you back there?
Yeah.
I think because you were going to pass out. You were like for sure going to pass out from just pain.
And I was just
and you were dehydrated. Yeah, it was hot.
I was tired and sweaty.
Yeah. But you didn't look right. You were ghost pale white. Yeah. Like you were fucking white.
Yeah, I'm sure I was.
Yeah. And so yeah, we get you back in the fucking ER in the room. And they got you back pretty quickly because I don't think the Craig ER's that busy. But
they weren't doing anything.
So we get you in the back of the room and you're getting undressed and they take your shirt off. And I was like,
this is the part I remember.
I was like, holy fuck, dude, your arm is gone.
It
like,
was so far down.
So
I remember looking and I'm
down.
like, I've seen a dislocated shoulder before. And
I was like, holy fuck, that's like, that looks worse than I thought. And I immediately was like, I got to take a picture of this. And I took a picture of you and I still have it. You're like in a gown.
I'm like sitting on the bed.
And I wish I had your left arm out of the gown too, so you could really see a comparison. But it didn't take, like Ray Charles could have seen that your shoulder was fucking
100%. Yeah.
It was bad. And they're kind of walking me, they're like talking to you, but kind of talking to me because I don't think you were coherent.
I was like,
she was like, and the doctor comes in. And like they're fucking taking their sweet time. Like you're in so much goddamn pain. And
they kept asking me.
And they're like, so what do you like? And like, you want some ice? And I'm like, yeah, fucking some ice is really gonna help this situation right now. Like, how about we put his fucking arm back in? And they're like, oh, well, we need to get x-rays. And I'm like, well, how about we get the x-ray tech over here? Like, what the fuck's going to take you so long?
They took their sweet time.
That's just ERs though.
And they kept asking me. They kept asking me, and they're like, do you need anything right now? Are you comfortable? And
Yeah,
like,
like,
I need
no.
my shoulder back in and I'm not comfortable.
You're like, I'm holding my fucking arm up.
Yeah.
Like if I let go of this with my left arm, it's going to hurt even worse.
Yeah. And they're like, can we put more pillows behind your back? I'm like, nothing is comfortable right now. I just need this put back in.
Yeah. So then she looks at me, she goes, all right. And I said, so what's this process look like? Like, are we going to get his arm back in? Like, what are you going to do? And she goes, oh yeah. So we can put it back in with you awake, or we can put you under, sedate you, and put you under anesthesia and knock you out that way. And I looked at the doctor. I took one look at her. I'm like, dude, she's not that big of a doctor. Like, that fucking shoulder's not going to go in easily. I go, take the anesthesia.
Yeah. And I was like, just give it to me.
Yeah.
It was already out for so long,
Dude.
and I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
I'm like, the quickest I can get this pain to stop,
Yep.
just do it.
Yeah, and I was like, take the. I've seen enough shoulders get put back in. I personally have not dislocated one yet, but
It didn't feel great.
No, I can imagine that. There's nothing that sounds fun about it.
No.
But I've seen it take 4 or 5 people to get and it's not like you're a small like you work out. You got big shoulders. Like,
Right.
you're a buff guy, and so those are the ones that I see struggle with the most, because that muscle
Just fighting it.
Yeah, that muscle contracts so fucking hard. Dude.
Yeah.
It's like pulling a fucking.
Yeah. And if you don't have, if you're not completely relaxed, I'm sure it is harder because you're fighting it.
So they're like, oh yeah, we can either do it. Like, I can just do it without anesthesia, or I can give you anesthesia. And I was like, take the fucking anesthesia.
I took it. Yeah.
And so as soon as I
100%.
knew you were going to take the anesthesia, I'm like, oh fuck, this is going to take like at least an hour and a half.
You go take care of your stuff. I'll be here.
So I talked to the doctor. I go, so how long is this going to take? She was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was like, cool. I got to go untack my horse.
Right.
I got to I'm still wearing fucking spurs in my boots.
I was still wearing like muddy
Dude,
coveralls.
I'm covered in
everything.
shit. And I was like, I got a 1-year-old. I got fucking 3 horses that are probably still tacked up. It's Sunday afternoon, like 3-4 o'clock. I'm like, I'm trying to go home tonight. Like, I got a lot of shit to go do. Sorry, Joey, but you're on your own. You're going to get sleep anyways. And so I go back, I take care of all my shit, and then award starts like at 4:30, 5 o'clock maybe.
Yeah, early.
Yeah, that was pretty early. So I had enough time. I actually go to awards, and I sit through awards I get through all the day money, okay?
Right.
And day money, it was like, and Joey Lane. I was like, well, I'm going to go up there and get that check for him. And it was with you and Janelle. And it was their second place run. It was that run the only
right
run
before,
the only run that you did that you
didn't hurt myself
that day. And so you got a check. So I went up there, got your check. I looked at the clock. I said, well, Joey should be awake. So I threw your check in my pocket. I went back to the ER. I walked in and I was like, here you go, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you were awake. You
was
were
awake.
just woken up or something like that. And
like 10 minutes before that, I think.
So I
was
handed
like,
you a check and was like, I'm like, well, at least maybe this will cover your deductible.
Yeah. And I remember the nurses were like astonished. They're like, you two are nuts. Because I was stoked. And I was like, kind of bummed, obviously, and still kind of foggy, but we were like excited because I got a check, and the nurses were like, you two are nuts. I don't know what's wrong with you, but
so your season ended this year on the same race that my
same.
My season didn't end though. I still had horses to ride. Which I shouldn't have, but I did.
Yeah, but
you're not gonna stop my ass.
Yeah, and I remember I was hopeful I was gonna be good to go by Grand Lake, but
because the doctor. The ER doctor goes, hope. Oh yeah, you should be good to go in like 4 weeks. And I looked at it and I go, are you fucking crazy? Like I've seen enough dislocated shoulders. I don't ever remember anybody being okay at 4 weeks. But maybe the body's built differently now than what I remember.
Yeah, and obviously I was like, I didn't know anything. Yeah, and I was hopeful.
You went to the doctor. And what did he tell you?
He was like 6 to 12 weeks.
Yeah, nice fucking try, buddy.
Damn it.
Yeah. So,
but I tried, and there was, I think ultimately it was for the longevity, because I think if I popped it out again, it would have been even worse.
You could have
had to get surgery.
You could have done it, but you're what, 25 now?
Yeah,
not smart. Like,
it's just not. Yeah, it's not.
You could have ended up like AJ.
Yeah, I probably
You would have.
It probably would have popped out, and it
Yeah.
probably would have had to get surgery.
Yeah. Like
And
I
then I
said,
would've-
end up like AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have sucked a lot more. And at least now I'm at the point where, I'm 7 weeks post.
Like, unfortunately,
Dislocation?
you're 25, but your shoulder's fucked for the rest of your life.
Yeah, probably.
Like, you're never going to be the same again.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you know,
hoping, I mean, the physical therapist I'm working with is pretty good. Luckily,
Yeah.
I live in
a
Summit
very
County-
good town for
Summit County,
yeah,
Colorado
yeah.
has very good access to orthopedic
Correct.
doctors and physical therapists to the point where they're doing work on Olympic athletes,
Yeah.
X Games athletes, World Cup skiers, everything.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we both basically went to the same offices of the
Right.
doctors that operate on like Lindsey Vonn, Michaela Schiffer, and like those type
Yep.
of
Yep.
those level of
yeah,
athletes.
I
Like,
mean, people come
yeah.
from across the country
Yeah.
to come up here for
right.
the kind of work that I can get, 2 minutes away from where I live.
We're very fortunate for that aspect, but
Yeah. So, I mean,
unfortunately, we're fortunate.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
we're in
so-
a good place to have good access, and I'm able to lift a little bit at this point. 7 weeks post dislocation, and I can do some stuff. I'm getting close to like full mobility, and
So
it's
do
just
you,
kind of being careful.
do
at
you
this
think
point.
you're gonna make it to Meeker?
I think I will. Yeah. That's.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty optimistic in
Well-
that I would be able to.
Fortunately for you, the horse that you dislocated your shoulder on, and that I also fucked myself up on,
And that AJ
and
also
that also
fucked
fucked
himself
himself up on. God damn it, that's a good horse too.
It's
I
a
like.
good horse.
Fortunately, he's sold. So,
Unfortunately,
but fortunately, I could still Skijor him if I wanted to.
yeah,
So I don't know. He's kind of jinxed,
he's jinxed,
and
but
I
he's
don't
a
know
good
why,
horse.
but yeah, he's a damn good horse.
I mean, I
He's
like riding
dude.
him.
I love riding him. I love the way he's a good starting. Like he's just,
Yeah.
he's
He's
a good
such a
horse.
good head on his
That
shoulders.
was a hard one to get rid of, but he's getting up there in years, and
Yeah, you don't want to run him into the ground doing something like this.
no, he's gonna have a good retirement life. But
Yeah.
so your last race was Craig.
Yep.
Okay. But I continued on, and you continued to follow me. Okay. So next race was Silverton, right?
Silverton, the
Who-
weekend after.
Was it the weekend after, or was there a break?
I think it was.
The weekend after?
Nah, there might have been a
It was
break.
President's Day weekend is Silverton. I'm looking at my calendar. Yeah. So it was the 18th or 15th, 16th. Yeah. So it was the next weekend.
It was the next weekend. So
So next weekend was Silverton.
freshly in a cast.
My wife heard he had told me, I'm not going to Silverton. I'm fucking tired. And her one and a half-ish year old was, she's on the road with us the whole fucking time too. She's
had it.
my kid is not even 2 years old, and she has now Skijor 2 full Skijor seasons living in a horse living quarter trailer. Middle of the season.
She's got a lot of people to help out.
Yeah, but it's 5 races now, and I think we are in the season. My wife's like, I'm so fucking done. I need 4. That was 4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Meeker would have been the 5th. So she took a break, which don't blame her. I absolutely could take a break too, but you got to get why you can.
Yeah.
You got to get why it's hot, right? Like Skijor
Silverton's
seasons.
a cool race too.
It is a cool race.
I like the town.
They're getting better at it, but they're not very welcoming of us, which
the
kinda
community.
sucks.
Yeah,
the community.
I
So
always kind of have mixed feelings.
yeah, but anyways, so we
the
go to
location
Silverton.
is cool.
Yeah, we go to Silverton. You're fucking casted up. Same race. I was on crutches last year, which is
Yeah.
crazy. But anyways, so that was our next race. I drew checks on both days.
Yeah.
So it was a good race for me. I pulled 3 random skiers I never pulled before. I ended up bringing a bunch of horses, and then Silverton led us to, because I could keep talking about this all day, and I'm trying to like not go off tangents, but maybe we'll have to do another episode and catch up. But next race, help me out here.
I think it was a break.
Okay, there was a week break. Okay,
Yeah.
and then it goes
And then
to
Leadville.
and then Leadville, right? So
Yep.
then Leadville is the week after.
You didn't
Oh.
go to Leadville.
Because there was it was Driggs, Idaho was the race I would have gone to.
Yeah.
Idaho, obviously, which we
Yeah.
went to last year.
We did go to last year.
Long haul.
11 hour drive.
Checks were not great because I drew checks both days there too. And checks were not great. Like I didn't even cover my fucking dinner for that night on one of my checks, which is insane.
No,
but
it didn't even cover the beer tab for the weekend.
Yeah, so
it was like
we decided not to go to that race this year again in hopes that maybe there were some improvements, but
it was just it's too far of a drive for us to justify it.
To justify a $20 check for second place, which is fucking insane, but whatever.
Yeah, it hurt a little bit.
Didn't go up there, so we took another week off. So we ended up having basically 2 weekends off this year, and then went to Leadville, or Leadville was the following weekend, and I opted not to race in Leadville this year. You were fucking broken.
Yeah.
My other skier was supposed to have been broken, but
he was on the edge.
But he thought he was cool and young still. And still decided to ski, fucking skied half a run, blew himself up, obliterated himself, never Skijor again to this day.
Yeah.
Had surgery 2 weeks ago. Anyways, we'll have him on here and I'm sure we'll talk about all that stuff. But so Leadville, I didn't go for A, that was one reason. B, it was weather-wise was supposed to be 50 fucking degrees and I was more mind-blown of how they were going to put together a good horse track because I'm pretty picky on my horse tracks.
It was hot.
It's hot, and that track's built on asphalt the day before, and I was just not super optimistic about that horse track holding up well. And I'll be the first one to scratch a horse for safety reasons. Like, I just don't want to see my horse get broken. I don't want to have a broken leg. I don't want to put a horse down. So I'll scratch a horse in a heartbeat if the track's not well. And I didn't foresee that one happening, but they proved my ass wrong and good for them, So, but those were all other factors. The biggest factor why I didn't go though was because I was planning our race, which was the following weekend, and it was our first year. Holy fuck,
did I have focus?
No, I had so much logistic shit to do.
Yeah,
I was putting on a race in a town that was 2.5 hours away from my house, and it wasn't like I was putting on a race though at a fairground where there was horse facilities.
Downtown.
Like
we had to make it up.
Like even Leadville still has a fairground nearby to put horses in, okay?
Yeah, you had to make this up.
I had to completely basically bring a winter rodeo to a town. Like
that's never done it before.
All parts, every 2.5 hours away from my house. I ended up loading up 3 trailers full of stuff.
So 3 trips.
3 trips because I only have one
gear.
truck. I had Nick bring one up for me. So I brought 2 trailer loads.
And then we brought one.
Yeah. So I went up there. So I loaded everything up Saturday, Sunday because I work a full-time job still in the meantime. So I had Saturday, Sunday. We loaded up. The biggest thing I had to bring was panels. Okay. Because nothing I hate more as a competitor than showing up to a race and having to bring my own panels.
It sucks.
It just sucks.
And most people don't have them.
Like I have them and I have portable ones. It just is not. It's not fun. Yeah. It's not sucks. You don't feel welcome. It's like, hey, we're coming to your town to bring this race to you guys. It's like
we're guests.
It's like inviting your guest over to your house. It's like, hey,
did you bring your bed?
Did you bring your plate and utensils so you can eat dinner? Like that's how I look at it. So as a competitor, since I don't like doing it, I don't want to be the guy that puts a race on that doesn't have fucking facilities for your horses. So my goal was as a race organizer was to basically make everything the way I would want it to be if I was the competitor. And I was a competitor, but so I ended up hauling 250-ish panels up to Grand Lake.
And we brought that one, or I brought that trailer full too.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then I set them up with my buddy Tyler on Monday. I set most of them up on Monday with my 1.5-year-old on my back in a backpack in a snowstorm in a church pasture in Grand Lake. I set every single one of those fucking panels up by myself. We had the fire department come out and help. The Grand Lake Fire Department.
Get like the local football team or something too.
No, and I was like, oh, sick, dude. Like, I get 6 of these guys. Like,
should go quick.
They're sitting in their station doing absolutely fucking nothing. And I can say that because I was a firefighter and I know what it's fucking like. Yeah, they were doing jack and shit. I guarantee you. So
get out here.
So Matt called him. Matt's the public works guy at Grand Lake, and he was the biggest help with putting this race on. But so he called them up and he had them come out, and they showed up like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes later. They were probably finishing up their afternoon lunch. They were there for like 15, 20 minutes. And I could be a little off, but it might have been a little longer.
Nice.
But it wasn't very long.
Not quite long enough.
I turned around and they're all gone. And I was like, these motherfuckers, they got their one call of the week.
Right.
The one call of the week, right when they were helping me out put these panels up. So anyways, I was setting all these panels up. So that was one thing. That was basically why I didn't go to Leadville. It was just
too much stuff
Logistically
to do.
Was not a wise thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want my horses to get hurt because I needed them all healthy for Grand Lake. So,
yeah,
that was one reason. So,
yeah. No, it was fair.
So we go Leadville, then Leadville rolls into Grand Lake, and Grand Lake also fell on the same weekend as Red Lodge, Montana, which I know a lot of people end up going to.
It's not notoriously, but it's more well known as the finals.
Yeah,
for it's typically the last race.
These self-proclaimed national finals of skijoring. But
yeah,
that's gonna kind of go. That's got to go in the dumpster now.
Yeah.
Like you can't claim that anymore.
We'll take it. Well, and Bondurant's
you can't claim that you're in the national finals,
right?
And you're basically the middle of the fucking third month of the season. Like there's races that basically go to the last weekend of March now, right? So
yeah, there's 2 weekends after that.
You can't have races after you and claim that you're in national finals. So
yeah,
I'm gonna argue that one all day.
I don't know if they claim that anymore. Do they?
It was on their website last I looked, but
maybe they don't update their website.
Keep it all you want,
We'll take it from you.
I don't want it.
We don't want that pressure.
It's too much stress. Yeah. But anyways, so we happened to fall on the same weekend as Red Lodge, Montana. But we were last Colorado race, right?
Last Colorado race.
Yeah. So
we did a lot of marketing just based on that. Like I had handed out probably 300 flyers
at Leadville.
Yep. And it was just walking up and down the street.
Like a fucking Jehovah's Witness.
Like a Jehovah's Witness. Just walking up and down the streets, packed streets. Like I was, shoulder to shoulder people, but going up and handing flyers out saying, hey, if you guys are having fun this weekend, we have last Skijor race of the season in Colorado next weekend in Grand Lake. It's not much farther than Leadville. If you live in Denver, it's pretty much the same drive. It was received very well. A lot of people had already said, we're already planning on going. We heard about it. We saw videos. We're stoked. Or some people were like, wow, we didn't have anything going on next weekend. We're coming. And, I remember asking people at Grand Lake, how'd you hear about this? What brought you here this weekend? Some of them were like, we heard about it at Leadville. Because I also talked to Brandon, who was announcing Leadville.
Yep.
He announced it a lot. And so...
yeah,
it worked.
Yeah, I think we pretty much and he raced that Brandon or Dusty did this year, which Brandon and I don't know fucking Brandon's last name, and I should. It's in my phone, but I know Dusty Seegers because I wrote that fucker a big check this year. But those two dudes are like hands down the best official. I'm gonna name them. They're the official Skijor announcers for the sport. Absolutely. They do such a phenomenal
Brandon and Dusty.
Yes, they do such a phenomenal job. They actually get to know the competitors on a personal level, so they can kind of sit there and bullshit our stories to the spectators, so they kind of know. Yeah, they just get a whole nother perspective. But they're
like professional sports announcers,
super professional
for skijoring.
Yep, they're the best, dude. Like they're
100%.
Two good dudes. And I'm excited. They're gonna both be at our race this year, so they're gonna
adds a whole new level of spectator.
And that was hands down our biggest reason of why we wanted to lock a date in so fast for next year
to get an announcer.
No, it was to get both of them.
Yeah,
because I know they're so hot and sought after. But if I reserve them first,
no one else can take
first
them.
Come first serve, baby. Yeah. But yeah, so. No, they're two solid dudes, but they definitely pushed our race
so hard
without even being asked to. Just saying, like when we were up and running, they'd be like, "Oh, Steve Itell or Delphine Itell, they're putting on their first Skijor event in Grand Lake, Colorado." Like, yada yada yada. So,
and he was saying it a bunch at Leadville too.
Yeah,
and I had talked to him, and he was saying, "Yeah, I'm plugging in as much as I can," and I like
Dusty
handed him.
Was, And Dusty was doing it in a fucking Big Sky, Big Sky is a huge race, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it helped to have those guys for sure. But no, I mean, I thought we crushed it for marketing for our huge non-budget marketing budget.
Yeah, it was just me.
It was you. Well, it was you,
and Del, and
it was you,
Josh.
me. Yeah, it was you, me, Delphine, and Josh all
Just
kind of
running
ran
Instagram.
Yeah.
And I remember the craziest. So in Grand Lake, it was Saturday night, I think. I was grabbing food at the Sagebrush, and there was a group of people all, dressed to the nines in their westerns, their get up and the pageantry, and obviously always love the pageantry. It's great to see. And just got in a conversation with them, and they were from Texas. They were from Waco, Texas, and they had drove out for Grand Lake.
No way.
For that weekend.
Really?
To watch our race.
I never heard this story.
Yeah.
Seriously?
100%.
Oh,
and I was...
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I was with some friends, and they were like, oh, yeah, he was the one that, he was putting this on. And so obviously just got in a conversation, and they're like, I was like, well, how'd you see it? And they're like, oh, social media. We saw it, and we saw the dates.
Dude.
And I was like, I love to hear that because I was the one running that. So I'm like so excited that you guys came out. And they're like, yeah, we saw that it was this weekend. We had always wanted to see a race, and this looked like a cool one. So we booked a plane, booked a hotel, booked, extra things onto that trip. I think they were going to Aspen or something else.
Right.
And they made a trip out of it. But the thing that brought them all the way from Texas was to watch Grand Lake skijoring.
That's crazy.
It was so cool to hear.
I mean, it comes also, I mean, I have a crazy story too. I mean, one of the skiers I pulled fucking flew out from Maine, dude.
Crazy.
Maine. Like, he competes in skijoring in Maine, and this might have been his first, maybe second year. It didn't sound like he'd been doing it for too crazy long, and forgive me. And I'm terrible with names, but I want to say his name was Matt.
I don't remember. I don't think I met him.
Oh, God, I'm such a bad person. But I want to say it was Matt. And he reached out to us, said he was coming from Maine. He's a skier. And I guess he competes in like the open field in Maine. And he reached out to us like right after AJ fucked himself up in Leadville and called me and was like, dude, I can't ski.
Good timing.
I can't ski in Grand Lake. No, for sure. He was like, dude, it was like an angel reaching down from heaven because we were like hurting for open skiers. And then all of a sudden we had plenty of open skiers. And I was like, sweet. So he flew all the way out from Maine, which is the fucking northeast corner of the U.S., if you don't know where the fuck Maine is, and came to Colorado. And he's like, I've been wanting to come to Colorado race, but none of them have been working out with my work schedule, yada, yada, yada. So he's like, I'm coming. And I was like, dude, if you come, we will make sure that we can get you some poles to make it worth your time. And he had a full day of poles. I think he had 4 poles each day. And he did really well. I mean, you could tell maybe the field in Maine's not quite as tough compared to Colorado. Like I
can see that.
I think we bring some tough talent, but
yeah,
he did a phenomenal job for coming out from Maine.
Yeah,
so
that's sweet.
That was crazy to me. I mean, dude, the fact that we were reaching skiers in Maine and
spectators in Texas.
Yeah, like dude, people are coming from all over the world. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I also had 2 good friends of ours fly out from fucking Florida.
Oh yeah, Allie.
So
yeah,
that was also like, that's crazy. So we had, off the top of my head, I mean, I know 3 competitors that flew in from other places to
just a race.
Yeah,
that's
so
huge.
Yeah,
we had
my wife's good friend flew out from, I think she lives in New York now, but she's originally from Florida. They grew up riding horses together anyways, but
yeah,
she came out. She's been wanting to come see one, and she finally made it work, but she came out and then pulled her boyfriend who lives in the Springs.
They had a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude. They
loved
it. They soaked it up for sure. But
he was having a hard time on Saturday. I don't think he had a finished run.
No, dude,
and then Sunday,
do you expect him to? I mean, fuck it.
Not really.
It's not as easy as it looks when you actually get yanked. I mean,
yeah, because
I gave her what used to be my fastest horse. He's not
Henry
anymore, but yeah, I gave her Henry to ride for the weekend. So, it's not like he had a little fast horse.
She was excited and probably started a little hard for him, but
Oh, for sure.
he blew the rope right out of his hand.
Well, she used to breeze horses in fucking Gainesville, Florida, or something like that.
Yeah,
so it's not like she knows how to ride a horse.
Yeah. And he looked like he could ski, but he just not at that level and didn't know what to expect really.
He's also in the Army, so he's got kind of soft hands, but I can say that.
He just moves.
Yeah. The fucker flies Apaches for a living, but he can't Skijor. Bitch.
But yeah, I remember he had a hard time Saturday, and he was like, had a hard time on his first run Sunday. And then Josh and I had walked up, and he was like kind of beating himself up. He's just saying, I just want to finish a run. And we're like, what's wrong? And he's like, what can't you do? He's like, I can't get to that gate. And we're like, dude, fuck that gate.
Yeah, just ski around
If you can't get to that gate and you just want to finish, fuck that gate. Ski straight.
Hands down.
And that's what he did. And he came back and he was ecstatic.
Tell your girlfriend to slow the fuck down.
Yeah, or tell her to slow down.
Yeah.
But yeah, after we had that little pep talk with him, he had finished that run, came back to the start, and he was stoked.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see.
Dude, I had known that feeling. I mean, it's such a sport that will beat you up and fucking also
100%.
bring you a lot of joy. And I like to think I'm one of those fortunate guys in this sport that, there's not very many of us. There's more than you think now, but I also skied professionally, Skijor as a skier, and I ride. So I kind of have both perspectives, which a lot of riders don't necessarily also bring that perspective, but I know what it's like. Like I said, I ski professionally, and it humbled me fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like it put me in the fucking dirt really bad. Like I have never done something that I thought I was so good at, but I suck so bad at.
Yeah. I think a lot of skiers go into
sex was about the only other thing I was, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it's,
looks good on camera.
Yeah. I don't even know if I look good on camera.
But yeah, I think it does that to a lot of people. A lot of skiers.
For sure. I mean, it's not just because you're a really good skier doesn't mean you're a good Skijor skier.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a different person. It's a different perspective. It's a totally different sport. I mean,
it's a different approach.
You're getting a 3-dimensional pole Skijoring while it's trying to slalom ski.
And
you don't get a 3-dimensional pole skiing. You're getting gravity. And you're the only thing in control of that, right?
It's an environment that you shouldn't be going as fast as you're going.
No, you're getting
flat.
You're
flat
getting
ground.
Horizontal pole. You're getting fucking vertical pole. You're getting gravity. I mean, edges. Like there's a whole. And
you got to rope work.
It'd be like if anybody's ever kiteboarded before, because I've kiteboarded, so it's like water skiing, but not the same.
Yeah.
It's like
a lot of people ask me what would you compare it to? And I was like, imagine water skiing, but 10 times harder.
Yeah. And like
weirder.
Even
and
if you have a water skiing background, it doesn't translate well to Skijor. And here's the reason. Okay. So water skiing, you're slalom skiing on water skiing, right? You set that fucking rope and you're edging the fuck out of that water. That boat is going the same speed, right? Because it's got fucking 300 horsepower. You got a $250,000 boat pulling your ass down the water.
You set it
right?
at 1 speed.
Yeah. And that boat you can't slow that boat down. Okay. You set a hard edge Skijoring on a track, you will slow that horse down.
Yeah.
As a rider, you feel that shit. You feel those skiers that pull hard and set an edge hard, and that shit slows your horse down. Okay. Right. You have 1 fucking horsepower.
Yep.
Literally 1
horsepower.
And so the whole premise and to put into perspective to try to explain how this sport works to new people is you need to keep your speed going. You need to keep edging without slowing your horse down.
Yeah.
Like a
ski
good,
light.
like my favorite skiers, the best skiers, you don't feel them behind you.
Right.
Like even the start, you don't feel them.
Yeah.
Because that is when all your momentum starts. Like if you have a shitty start Skijoring, that's potentially 1 to 2 seconds off your entire time.
Yeah. And the start comes into the hands of the rider and the skier.
Right.
100%. Because as a skier, you have to, I guess that's the other difference between water skiing. Water skiing, you're just holding on to a handle at the end
of a rope, and that's where you stay.
But skiing, you're Skijoring, you're climbing up and you're sliding back.
It's dynamic.
Fully dynamic.
You're working that rope the whole fucking time.
So, I mean, even from before you start the start gate.
Yep.
Before you cross the start gate, you're working.
Yep.
You want to slide back, and then you want to climb up, and then you want to slide back, and you're trying to get to a tough corner, and you got to slide a little bit, and by the end, you want to be as far up as you possibly can.
Yeah. You want to start as far back.
Seconds.
You want to start as far back, and you want to be as far up.
Like I said,
you're on a 33-foot rope. If you're climbing that halfway up, that's essentially 15 feet. Let's give or take, right? Like that's a whole fucking second of time on a track.
And you're talking about the difference. Like I said earlier, I've been off of a buckle by 2/100ths of a second or 3/100ths of a second. You know, like
I've lived in second place so many times by 2/100ths of a second. It fucking sucks.
By fractions, you know, and that's. But the difference of, cutting that gate a little closer, climbing
that's
that
like the
little
difference
bit
of like
farther.
one grip up that rope.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if we were going to just bat on the skier the whole time, but I mean, that's the difference of that horse taking half a step to the right or half a step to the left of that feature. Like there's a lot of factors, but
it's a team.
That's the sport is getting so competitive and it's getting so much faster and so much harder that we are literally placing ourselves. Like the difference at most of these races, I would say from 1st to 10th is usually half a second.
Yeah.
That separates 1st through 10th place.
Probably less.
On a fucking track, pulling a skier behind a 33-foot rope that you're not fixed to with horses ranging in sizes from 14 2 hands. Like I would say my horse is probably one of the smallest horses that runs open in the top speeds of the sport. But I mean, 14-2 to a fucking 17 hand horse. I mean, it's insane, dude. Like there's nothing that if you were to go look at like, oh, that's the fastest team. Like it could be anybody. It's a half a second.
Yeah. It's anybody's race.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's
unless you're racing against Richard.
Right. So Grand Lake was my last race. It was your last race. And then
it was my last race.
Just basically there was still 3 more races after that I can think of.
Bondurant.
One, then there was the Invitational in Sun Valley. Yep.
So 2.
So we talked about, I'm guessing you're low for the 2025 season. What was your favorite, like your best, like what was your standout moment this year for the season?
Skiing, I think just results wise, Pagosa was definitely my best skiing race for sure. It was my top placing race. I had the first few fastest runs Saturday and Sunday. Ended with 2nd overall, first on the day and Sunday. Craig, despite the injury, I think I skied pretty well both days. Obviously walked away with a 2nd place check, or 1st place check or 2nd place, sorry.
2nd on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Don't fucking cheat yourself.
No, I was mixing that up.
Strickland got first, motherfucker.
Oh, I know he did. We'll take it from him.
I'm going to take it from him. Sandbag motherfucker.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Pagosa was my best skiing of the season. It was the 2nd race. I was able to go out, and it was in the sport division.
Right.
Saratoga we were in the open. And it was still really fun to ski.
Yeah. But I thought
it was such a tough competition to ski against.
I thought you fucking skied that one though. Like for like stepping up, I thought you and AJ both crushed it, and you guys both skied it really fucking well. Like you guys held your own in the competition that you had to
versus like the toughest competition.
It wasn't like you guys went in there and went from sport to open. You got your fucking ass spanked. Like you guys did pretty well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to follow it up with. Is I think we competed well in Saratoga.
Yeah,
I think it was just a tough competition, and I think
it was a tough track.
It was a tough track to ski. I mean,
Sunday was straight mud.
Sunday I got smacked in the face just by a patch of mud.
Yeah,
landed right on the jump, clean run.
Yep.
All the rings in my hand, 10 feet away from the finish line. My skis stopped in the mud, and I just got pulled right to my face.
Wasn't I pulling you?
Yep.
Yeah, and I look back, and I'm like, how the fuck did he not finish? Like, he was there, and I was like, because I was watching the whole time. Like, there's most of the races.
I was there.
Most of the races, if I'm confident in the footing of the track, I have no problem looking back.
And we had already talked, and we were good.
And that was one of those races where I was like basically staring over my back the whole time. My horse, I have full confidence in my horse to do his job. And I look back and I'm like, fuck, we're finished. And so I start looking forward so I can start slowing my horse down. And I look back and he's on the fucking ground. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Literally 10 feet away from the finish line and my skis stopped, double ejected.
I don't think I had any clean run on Sunday.
Yeah. I like ski stopped, double ejected, just rope pulled me straight to my face.
Yeah.
And it was like, I couldn't do anything. And it happened to 2 other people too.
Calcutta's, dude. That's what saved my year.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Juicy Fruit. I think that was who beat me. I think I bought Franken Beans and Richard. I go, all right, dude, I'm in first. I saw Richard and I'm like, dude, I was like, I got first place Calcutta. He goes, you wait. Next round's gonna make you smoke your ass.
Yeah.
And he had bought Juicy, I think. And I could be backwards. He might have bought Franken Beans and Juicy. Anyways, he goes, nope. He goes, you wait. I haven't run this one yet. He's gonna smoke it. And I was like, fuck you, dude. You better not. Sure enough, he went out there and just beat me by like 1/100th of a second or something stupid like that, and took like $500 from me.
We'll have to do a whole episode just on Calcutta and explain what that is.
Dude, I did really well this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about pretty much everything I want to talk about. I mean, I guess let's finish it up with we kind of seen where the sport is going. We kind of talked about where it's going, but where would you like to see this sport go? I guess let's say in the next like 5 years.
I honestly, I think it's already tried to happen a few times where people have kind of pulled the sport together into kind of one sanctioned event, and it's kind of hard to see how that would happen. But I think it would be cool if it worked out that way. If somehow we figured out some sort of point system between races and you could kind of sanction the races as a whole and like build up divisions, maybe build up a pro division even past the open division for those people that are blowing out the open division. Shout out to Richard Weber and Tyler and Jim and all those people.
No, fuck you, Richard.
But you know what I mean? Like kind of maybe make them have their own division. And I think the Sun Valley Invitational.
So you're saying there's some people that are too good?
I think there's some people.
Isn't that what a sport's supposed to be?
You're right. Yeah.
Or do you just suck too much?
I think we're just not there. Maybe we just need to get there. And they've been doing it for so long. So
yeah,
the longer we're in it. But you know what I mean, though. I think seeing like a real.
You want to see like a circuit.
I think a circuit,
or like
a little more organization.
Not necessarily a circuit. We kind of have a circuit, but it's our own homemade circuit now. Basically, like none of these races are
talk to each other.
No, well, we all talk to each other.
Well,
None of them are compounded on results from the previous race. You want to see,
like as you progress through the season, you build up points as an individual.
Yeah, exactly. So if you placed in Ridgeway, you get 1 point. If you go and place the next one, you get 1 point.
You get another point.
It's like how any other pro sport is. Like
you place first
like NASCAR
place,
and all that shit.
Yeah,
but,
you place first place, you get 2 points, or
right.
You get a buckle, you get 3 or something. You know.
Yeah. No, that'd be sweet to see.
It would take a lot, and I think it would take a lot of teamwork and a lot of people talking. But I think if it got there within, I think it has the potential to get there between 5 to 10 years from now. And,
for sure.
I think seeing it burst open through like the U.S. Ski Open or like the skiing circuit and kind of be recognized by the skiing cup is huge. Being invited to Sun Valley
where it was 50 degrees.
Right. No, but you know what I mean? Like it was recognized by like, Olympic committees.
And the downhill was canceled.
Yeah. But it was recognized by, real world, like nationally organized race organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if it was recognized and maybe it was committed a little bit more, it could happen. It could not. It could go both ways.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be there. I think we're getting the traction that we need. I think definitely the last 4 years, ever since like all the COVID social media bullshit craze that started, that definitely blew this sport up more.
Blown up.
Yeah, so I think that's going to help a lot. These towns, I think that have these races in. I think they are starting to realize how much of a revenue stream they are for these towns. I think that's
huge.
That's having a huge impact on it. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be exciting to see where it goes, and I like to say we're kind of at the forefront of it right now. Like we're just getting started. Like what you guys have been seeing and what you think you've been seeing, it's only gonna get crazier.
I think so. And I think it's cool that I think even we're just starting. Like we've only been doing this
That's what I'm saying,
seriously
like, yeah.
for 3 years, and we're competing against people that have been doing this for, almost 20 years. And I think, as we grow, the sport's going to grow, and as we get better, the sport's just going to get better. And I think we're on the forefront of something that could be huge.
Yeah,
Potentially, and I think it already is getting there.
But yeah, like I think by the time my kid's like crushing it on skis and riding, like the sport's gonna be crazy. Like it might be an Olympic sport by then.
Salt Lake City,
dude,
2030, right?
There's 2028. There's definitely rumors. There's definitely tangible rumors.
I've heard them
that I have confirmed and not denied that it's potential.
It's in the talks.
Not to necessarily be the Olympic sport, but to make a showing.
To be an exhibition.
Yep. So,
which I think it already has been. It was at another Olympics. Like,
enlighten me because I haven't heard this.
I think it was decades ago, and
Okay.
it was the torch lighting ceremony. I would have to Google it.
I could see that.
But it was a torch lighting ceremony, and they brought it in and lit the Olympic torch at the opening ceremony, and
that's pretty badass.
A horse pulling a skier, and they lit it up, and
not like an actual race though. Just
not a race.
Just the
it
concept.
was literally just a concept featuring, a horse pulling a skier. I don't know if there was a rider involved. It might have just been the skier was driving it, but it's been talked about before.
That's a whole nother subject. So we've been talking now for 2.5 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Which is fucking crazy because I feel like we just barely scratched the surface, and like I could keep talking about this for hours. Like,
yep.
Anytime anybody gets me going about Skijor, and it's either like got to keep it short and sweet, or grab a beer, get a chair, sit down, because we're gonna be here for a while. Because I'm very passionate about it. But
it's easy to talk about.
I mean, I hope to continue this. We'll have other people on here. I'm sure you'll be on here more times than you can count because you're my brother and you're right next to me. So, yeah, I mean, like, there's a whole nother subject we could talk about, just international sport recognition and the other countries that are even doing this sport. Like, it's not just America that does this. It's
Canada, Norway,
Switzerland. Yeah, so, but that's for another subject. I mean, we'll kind of wrap this up right now. I mean, that was, so thank you for coming on, Joey.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We'll have you on again, and good luck on your shoulder recovery.
We'll get going.
Yeah. Don't fuck it up again.
Don't fuck it up.
I need a skier, and if you crash and burn again, trust me, I can find other skiers, as it was proven this year.
Right.